and welcome back to another video. In today's sketchbook session, we're going to be talking about how to fill your sketchbook quickly and effectively. So, as you might know if you've seen my previous video of my goals for this year, I've said that I want to complete one sketchbook at least this year. And that's mainly because I'm quite productive when it comes to art, but I don't sketch a lot on my sketchbook. So the last sketchbook I finished was in November, I think, and it took me about, 3 or 2 years to fill, because I was drawing most of the times on other places. So yeah, I want to be better at working on my sketchbook. I've been learning a few things along the way. I'm actually being quite more productive with the sketchbook I have now. So I wanted to share this, and also because I see a lot of videos about how to quickly finish your sketchbook or fill your sketchbook, and most of them are filled with things like stick everything that inspires you on your sketchbook, or write down everything that inspires you or how your day was and things like that on your sketchbook. And I don't think that a sketchbook is for that. I mean, just take this with a grain of salt, is my opinion and it's my experience. But I believe that if you want to stick a lot of things and write about your day, you should have a journal or a diary, not a sketchbook. I mean, you can take notes on your sketchbook, maybe about a dream that inspired you, or a movie that inspired you, or maybe, an image that really inspired you, and stick it there. But why would you fill your sketchbook with a lot of sticky things and notes when your sketchbook is actually for sketching? And actually, a sketchbook is much more expensive than a diary or a journal, so why would you waste your money on buying a sketchbook when you can buy a journal? That's just my opinion. Sorry about that, Rumble. What I think is, and this is number one, do whatever you want with your sketchbook. But just remember that a sketchbook is for you to practice your drawing. So, of course, stick there whatever you feel like it. If you have a really cool sticker that inspires you, stick it there. Or feel free to cover things you don't like with a sticker or with a cool thing you like. But don't take this as an excuse not to fill the pages. I mean, I've seen people that maybe will say, alright, I'm gonna fill 10 pages this month. And then by the end of the month, they've only filled, maybe 6 or 7. So what will they do? Just fill the next ones with stickers, with notes and things like that. So that's not effectively using your sketchbook. That's just an excuse to say, well, yeah, I filled my pages. That's what I mean with all this rumble. So yeah, make the most of your sketchbook, but feel free with it. Feel free to do whatever you feel like it. Try to play with the space and with covering things if you don't like them, and with stickers, but don't overuse them. I mean, don't use them as an excuse. Let's talk a bit about actually using a sketchbook. And first thing I want to mention is feel free in it. Like, draw whatever you want and don't feel ashamed, because no one has to see your sketchbook if you don't like to show it. Your sketchbook is yours, and it's supposed to be your way to unwind. So if you feel like drawing, a lot of cats, don't feel ashamed, because, if someone says it, they will gonna think I'm a crazy cat lady or something. No, just do whatever you want. Is your sketchbook, you're entitled to. And don't feel the pressure to make it pretty, or to have to do all the pages in order. For example, I like to do the pages in order, but I know people that are scared of doing things in order. They kind of feel intimidated by that. So if you feel like drawing in a different order, do it. You're welcome to do it. It's your sketchbook. Then to actually fill your sketchbook more effectively, what I would recommend is to do live drawing sessions. And I know that most of people can't do them, like maybe they can't afford them, or they can't go. I myself, I can't really afford them. I've been having a few on my university, but I can't really afford them to go by myself and do it. So what I do, there's a lot of web pages out there that will plan a session of, for example, 1 hour of doing different studies, or maybe you can just browse through the images in the page and they will set you a time of 10 minutes, 50 minutes, something like that, so you can draw any pose you want. So that's a cool way to fill your sketchbook, because you're not only filling pages, but you're also practicing body proportions and anatomy and quick gestural drawings. So it's a good way to fill it if you want to try that. Another thing I've been doing and I find really effective is to do all my thumbnails and all my concept sketches in there, and also take all my notes for my ideas there. Before, what I did was probably sketch in the paper I was going to use for the piece, and that's actually bad because most of the time you damage the paper, and then the medium you want to apply maybe won't act as it should because you already damaged the paper with the eraser or with the grease on your fingers. I highly recommend to take up your sketchbook and do little concept sketches, little thumbnails, or maybe if you feel like really go into detail, just do a whole page of your sketchbook with a detailed sketch and do color compositions and things like that. It helps you go into your piece more confident, and it also helps prevent you from, going to do a piece with markers and then realize that it might have looked better with watercolors, and now you can't do it because the paper is not suitable for it. Then the next tip I will have is try different mediums. The sketchbook is perfect to experiment. It's actually a thing you should experiment on. So try wash paintings, try inks, try color pencils, try watercolors, whatever you feel like trying. You can do it on your sketchbook first if you feel intimidated, and you can also do it more freely because it's your sketchbook, is supposed to look messy, right? So yeah, try different mediums and have fun in your sketchbook. That's the best thing you can do to actually fill your sketchbook effectively. I will highly recommend you to doodle for 10 or 15 minutes before starting drawing. Say, for example, if you're gonna start your drawing session of the day because you have 2 or 3 hours free to draw, just start with grabbing your sketchbook and do a few doodles on it. Not only this helps you fill your sketchbook, and that's what we are talking about here, but it also helps you warming up, because sometimes when you start drawing you feel a bit weird, you're just untrained. I think it helps warming up and gets you more creative and ready for the actual painting. You might even find yourself hooked and spend like 2 hours doodling, which has happened to me. The last one is actually kind of the same, but I will say that you should reserve some time just for you and your sketchbook, like some intimate time for you and your sketchbook. This is a good practice for everyone, because having half an hour with your sketchbook every day or every 2 or 3 days. And I know everyone has a tight schedule, so feel free to put it on whatever frame of time you have. But having a you time with your sketchbook is almost like watching a movie in Netflix and grab some popcorn sometimes. I mean, for an artist it is actually. So yeah, just feel free to give yourself some time with your sketchbook. And it also helps to carry your sketchbook around with you, because this way, whenever you have some free time, you can have some alone time with your sketchbook. And it always helps when you're waiting for a bus or something to just make time. So yeah, that was basically it. I hope this helped in some way. Thank you so much for bearing with me during this little rumble. I really hope you have a wonderful weekend. Let me know if you have any tips on how to use your sketchbook more effectively, or what you think about my tips. I'll see you next Friday. Bye!